Welcome to Tailgate Update. If you're keeping track at home, and I hope you are, this should be episode 60. A lot of interesting things happen when you get 60, and one of the great things about turning 60 is Caleb's here joining us today. So, welcome back, Caleb.
Woohoo!
We missed you.
Miss being here. Miss seeing your faces. It's been like, what, 2 months?
It's been a while, man.
It's been a long time, man.
I mean,
it's been a long time.
I left in November, so.
Okay.
Almost
So anyway, in your honor, we're going to open up with like a little bit of MLB news and NBA news. But Ryan had some contract information for something going on today.
Yeah, the MLB is getting a little busy here during the winter time, the off season. Spring training is going to be starting next month. The Dodgers added 2 new people this week, 2 pitchers. Roki Sasaki being signed at the international pool there, and they get Tanner Scott from San Diego. 4 years, $72 million.
That star keeps rolling.
Yeah.
Making the Yankees look cheap.
This makes you mad, doesn't it, Gil?
It's like just pissing me off. Yeah, no reasonable doubt, but I'm ready for the CBA in 2027. I can say that. See what happens.
The Blue Jays are signing Anthony Santander to a 5-year deal, $92.5 million. What do you think about that one, Caleb?
That's cheap, man. I mean, what do you have? 40 bombs the past 2 years? Like, each? No, last year he did, but I mean, I think it's a pretty good pickup for them. They need some more pop besides Vlad.
Yeah, well, this signing might throw a little wrench into the Vlad signing next year. He's free agent next year, so.
Vlad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a little bit of a contingency plan, I suppose, then for them. But I was shocked to see Vlad didn't get traded this year, to be honest.
Oh, they were pretty bad this year. They had spurts, but Vlad's they're probably going to let him walk for nothing. They're going to let tough division, dude. What?
The AL East?
2.5 teams are good.
I mean, the Red Sox are. I mean,
they're the half team.
You got to think like the Red Sox were in playoff contention up until September.
That's why I said 2.5 teams.
All right, there's 4 teams.
Yeah, well, the other 2 are
so
2.5 teams.
Pretty good.
Yeah, the one team's got really bad.
NFC North for a long time there.
Yeah, the Blue Jays were the Bears this year. So.
All right, man, you got personal. Damn. How about the Rams?
Man, 3 whole minutes before you took a shot at him? Jeez.
I was waiting, man.
He was waiting for him to return.
He walked into it, man. He opened the door and the hand just slapped him. It's his own fault.
We'll get to you here in a minute.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Is that it?
Yeah, off the top of my head, unless you want to talk about the Pirates' dismay.
No, like your bad attitude. Is that it?
Oh no, it's coming. It's coming a little bit.
All right, cool.
I will tamper it off just for now, just for you. Yes.
You said you had something about the NBA today too.
Yeah, Draymond Green, the guy who does nothing and still gets the ring. Strained his calf, I guess. Well, he injured his calf. He had an MRI yesterday after the win over Washington on Saturday. So who knows?
Isn't he like 90? Like, how long is this man gonna play?
He's to me, Draymond has always been the kid that does nothing in the group project but still gets an A and still acts like he's the valedictorian.
I know you don't like him. I'm just saying he's like in the era of like the ancient players that I'm like, how are you still like moving? Like, because they're all like 12 feet tall, their limbs wear out pretty quick, and they're just like Steph Curry just had another ankle injury. Like, they're falling apart. Like, they have like angel limbs. Glass limbs is what I mean. Yeah.
Draymond feels like he's a class bully too, on top of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at pictures of Draymond when he came out as a rookie, he already looked 40.
That's true.
That's true. Jay.
He's never aged. He's always looked the same age.
He still looks 40, but you think, he must be 40 because he's been around forever.
Yeah, right.
That was a grown man at Michigan State. That was different.
Look, sometimes you just are. You're a complete project by the time you're a certain age.
Jeez.
Professional athlete, I suppose.
Starting to look like one of the guys Uncle Drew recruited coming out of college. Grizzlies' Ja Morant misses 18th game of the season with foot soreness. He is now ineligible to win any awards.
What's going on, Jay?
Three different injuries. Three different injuries since the start of the season. So it's like different things. There's a shoulder, a foot injury. The thing about it is he's missed three different games, three different stretches from injuries, and there was no foul call on any of the injuries.
So these are legit injuries. This isn't like Joel Embiid just taking days off. Okay,
this is like for real.
Oh,
the shoulder thing was one of the things. He tried to play one game and you played awful, and they said you got to come out because it's not just a pain threshold thing. It's like you got to get your range of motion back.
Shit, man, he's got to play with his other hand.
No. And first off, it's like the NBA, like the Congress, where like you can't leave until you die, and then also,
yes.
or you choose not to, anyways.
Precisely.
Yes.
Yeah, you know too much. We can't let you leave.
Apparently, and then also Embiid just had that weird eye thing where like the Bell's palsy or whatever, where like the side of his face lost. Like all muscle movement, so maybe we just let him take some downtime if he decides he needs it before he gets some other weirder shit than that.
Yeah.
Do you remember when his eye wouldn't open on one side?
Yeah,
Do we want that
I got
again?
you. I got you. So
that scared me.
Usually close one eye when I shoot anyway. So.
It's because you're old. You can't see out one eye anyways.
You're not.
I can't see out of either eye without really strong contacts, so I feel you.
Chet Holmgren's going to be reevaluated in 3 to 5 weeks after pelvic fracture on November 10th versus Golden State.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a long-term injury. Yeah, it does.
There was, from what I understand, there was no foul called either.
Oh, that stinks.
I had a relative who broke their pelvis. That took a minute.
It's a long-term injury. There's...
You can't, it's hard to... Because, you can't really do a lot of exercise, but then laying on it all the time is also, puts extra stress on the area. It's not an easy recovery.
Did you say he fractured his pelvis, Ryan?
Yeah, he fractured it.
Wow. What the heck? What happened?
Back in November.
We got video footage of this?
It was definitely in the game. I guess he landed on the floor awkwardly after whatever. I don't know.
He's 7'4", whatever.
Yeah, so when you fall, it's like
he's huge, but he's very thin as well.
Yeah, that's what he weighs like 100 pounds. And
you see a lot of those guys now coming in. They're tall and lanky, very thin for tall guys. There's not any beefy dudes anymore.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it would take to feed that frame, in order to make yourself grow and get thick. But gotta do something. Look at. I guess KD's been pretty successful at staying healthy for the most part.
He's thin too, man. Holy hell! Well, dude, really?
But it was all foot stuff though with KD.
I think about how long he's been playing though.
Yeah, he's probably been around longer than he should have with the injuries he's had. So
that is the theme.
Yeah.
Well,
but
let's see. Anything else on basketball front? Or can we move to the ice?
Let's go skating.
Stop talking about my street.
Is it bad? Is it bad, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of ice. There's some on the sidewalks too. I was like, okay, let me not follow my. At least it wasn't black ice, because black ice, once you realize it's too late, you're already going down. Okay, thank God it wasn't that, but yeah.
Yeah, then you try and brace your fall, you break your arm.
Yeah, there's no saving
Strain
yourself.
some muscles.
You just gotta go down.
Yeah, just
accept your fate.
Just don't try to catch yourself, okay? You just gotta completely surrender to the experience.
Tuck and roll.
Yep.
You gotta do the shuffle, flat foot shuffle. Kind of waddle so you don't get any traction that forces you
trying to ice skate.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
You're skating without blades when people won't take care of the sidewalks.
I did that when I was walking to school.
Connor McDavid's been suspended 3 games along with Canucks. Tyler Myers. Connor McJesus gone 3 games. They're being suspended because of their actions on Saturday night.
Did you see what Garland did?
Being little dinks.
I liked what McDavid did, honestly.
Well,
Can you elaborate? Because I didn't watch it. So
they're both being suspended after drawing matching penalties in the final seconds of the game. McDavid cross-checked, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't see it, but it's about time the Golden Boy got called for some shit.
No. See, Garland was like, he took him down and like was trying to hold him down, and I mean he's being dirty, and I don't think McDavid was being protected all game, so he got tired of it and just buried his stick into his face.
Hey man, they get the retaliator every time. That's what they teach. The first thing they teach you.
Hey, you know what? I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah,
suspend me. Give me 3 days off. This
like,
guy's
sometimes
being
you
a
gotta
chump.
just do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
Okay?
You gotta beat the bully up sometimes, Ryan.
It's like it's not even about the game. It's just who you are as a person. Okay.
Pride. Take some pride in yourself. Dang it.
Yeah.
there you go. Okay.
All right.
I
Right,
hear
Jay?
you, Caleb. I hear you, Caleb.
Right, Jay?
Jay doesn't strike me as a person who resorts to violence often.
He's like, I'm just here to moderate. Leave me alone.
But I'm sure he also has had his moments where he's had to stand up for himself, say enough is enough.
Yeah, all them young hotshot lawyers down there, man. He's got to put them in their place.
Exactly.
I come across as soft-spoken, so
maybe Jay's
that's
the bully.
that's a
Maybe
tool
why
in
he's being
itself.
quiet. Jay's big dog on the block.
Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody respects Jay.
Well, I am who I am, and it's like I'm still surviving. I haven't lost my card and lost my bar card yet, so
there you go.
Hey, man.
There you go.
It's
that's a
hard to do
struggle.
that.
I know people that have.
Ooh.
Oh dear Lord, this name's gonna be hard to pronounce. Penn's goalie Alex Jokiv. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Anyways, he made history. Goal and assist in the same game. First goal in NHL history to do so.
Oh,
yeah,
That's pretty
good for
wild.
him, man. That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Which team, so that fans can actually know, like, get an idea. Oh, the goalie of such and such team.
Yeah,
who-
the Penguins.
Okay.
Sorry, I called them the
missed that
Pens.
part.
Sorry.
I missed that part because I was tripping over you trying to say his name. So I'm like,
Okay,
well,
you want me
I
to
don't
spell
know
it
if
for you?
fans will know it either.
You want me to spell it for you?
No, it's probably some alphabet soup. It's okay.
If you say the Penguins, then people know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to ask something about an assist, okay? When you get an assist on a hockey goal, that means basically like you one move and then you shoot. You're not allowed to like two move.
No.
Maybe
No.
2 passes.
one move.
You have to be one to touch the puck before the goal is scored.
Okay.
In order to get an assist.
Well, you can pass it to the guy that passes it to the scorer too. So
yeah,
2 people can have an assist on 1 goal.
So like if I pass it to Caleb and Caleb passes it to you, you shoot, you score. We both get an assist on your goal and a point.
Right.
So this next one is another freaking name. Hockey names, man, they're just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I could pass to you from like our own net, and then you could take it all the way down.
Okay, that makes
to
sense.
the ice. Yeah,
Still
get the assist.
Like in pro basketball, you've got the one move and then the thing. If you take the ball and then you beat your guy one-on-one, it's not an assist. Because it's just a dribble one-on-one score. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like about 2 dribbles, I think, is the basic thing.
Wow. Okay. I guess.
And note to you too, Ryan. You can also put the name, like how to pronounce that name, and type in the name, and there's going to be results. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we'll do it. Hold on.
There's
Please stand by.
There's entire YouTube channels designated just for how to pronounce names like that. Our research team is
yeah. It's Maxim Siplikov, I think his name is.
Nice.
That sounds very close, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been suspended 3 games for a high hit. Hit on Flyers, Ryan Poling. No penalty was assessed on the play. So another one getting suspended 3 games for a nice hit.
Wow. I mean, a 3-game suspension after something they didn't even call a penalty on at the time. That's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
but they have 3 games in like 3 seconds, so it's not like 3 games in the NFL would be like 3 weeks. 3 games in the NHL is like a week. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get 82 of them, I guess, but that is kind of crazy, Jay, that they didn't call anything on the ice. Curious if he drew blood or something. Or
Siplakov, that's his name. Siplakov. What a fucking name. Okay. Anyways, yeah, another guy getting hit and gets a penalty, or no penalty, and gets suspended. Ovi breaks another record on the way to the great one. Most goaltenders scored on, 179 goalies. He has scored on his way to the top spot, chasing the Gretz.
Even if he gets there, it just never quite. I don't know. It doesn't mean that much to me because.
Do I have a list?
No, not. I'm asking if he has a list. Do you think? Like,
oh, I don't know. Yeah, he's
got a running list in his house somewhere.
He's got one in his locker. Just crosses it off. Got your ass.
Yeah,
you too.
Little tick marks by it. How many scored on him?
Cool. I got this guy and 2 guys in 1 game. Wow. Oh, okay. That'll do it for the NHL.
Okay, now we get to talk about something like college football.
Well, I got one more question. Sorry.
What's the question? What's the question?
Damn it.
Is it why I can't pronounce hockey names?
It is. How far away from Gretzky is he on the? Is it the points, like total points list, or is it the goals?
Goals. 21 as of 3 days ago.
Oh.
As of 3 days ago, he's 21 away, which is great for my fantasy team.
How many games in are they this season?
You're really killing the research team here.
I'm sorry. I'm absolutely burying the research team.
44. I think. It's about 44.
So he might not. He's probably not going to get it this year. But.
So he scored on the 16th. That was the last goal. And the last game they played was the 18th.
Okay.
So, yeah. Dang. 21 away for Ovi.
Crazy.
It is, man. It's incredibly crazy.
That's a crazy good season. I mean, when you're looking at records from 40 years ago, that's when you know it's a good season.
Yeah, I mean, the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting that conversation.
But I still feel like I think this is pretty obvious, but when you compare somebody from 40 years ago to now, or 50 or whatever, Gretzky was playing in a time when you could hack his head off with the stick and it would be fine. And so it just hits a little different. So I'm like, he's still the GOAT. No matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But I would also say that you're playing in the era too where you're allowed to have enforcers on your own team where nobody even gets to touch Gretzky's hair.
That's true.
That is true. And
they had goons back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched that movie again.
You did Slapshot?
No, Goon. It's like a newer.
Okay.
Not nearly as good version.
Oh God.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, Slapshot was the one of the 3 players that was in the game that protected Paul Newman character was went on to be the coach of the Memphis minor league hockey team.
Maybe
just pretty wild.
Since I'm over here stating the obvious, also there's research now that enforcers, as you call them, are way more likely to have traumatic brain injuries, and related symptoms. Their brain is mush because, obviously that was their job. Yeah. So
just be a wrecking ball of
just
fury.
Yeah, so they're pretty much screwed. Yeah, all of them.
You don't see those enforcers really much anymore.
Yeah, that's because they're dead.
No,
yeah,
in the league, Julie.
They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to have them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
really strict now.
Officials are really policing fights and everything too.
You cannot have an enforcer anymore. You could have somebody who throws hands every once in a while, but not in the same way.
Yeah.
Ryan Reeves comes to mind in terms of the modern day.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple guys, but there's very, very few.
Yeah.
So we're looking at getting into college football now, right?
Yeah, we can do that now. Yes.
Yes.
Caleb's
Okay.
question has gone.
I am
Sweet.
allowing this to move forward finally.
Caleb is
Because
no
our
longer.
research team is like way over.
Dude,
They're overeating over there.
I thought the research was good, and then you just peppered me with questions I was not prepared for.
You weren't ready for the left hook. You just weren't.
You have not been around for 2 months, and it's screwing me up.
I slipped in there, got you a little jab.
Oh.
Sorry, brother.
Okay.
Okay.
Who you got for the game tonight? What do you think, Ryan?
I got Dame.
You got Dame?
Yeah, man.
I thought I'd be the only one. Yeah, I've got Notre Dame too. They're just on a heater.
So we can look at this next week and go, Ryan was a dumbass.
I think I got Notre Dame too, honestly. I mean,
oh, cool. Ryan and Caleb.
Game. I just think Notre Dame is a little I think they play some good D, and Riley Leonard plays a little unconventional quarterback.
Their quarterback's really good, yeah.
But he gets it done.
Okay.
And I love their running back.
Yeah. It's 3 for the upset, so.
Our research team is resting after.
Okay.
Yeah. After what Caleb put them through.
Yeah. They deserved it. Yeah. Take an extra long break. Well earned.
Texas is keeping Steve Sarkisian for 7 years.
Yeah, I think I've seen something about rumors about that being like a leverage play for NFL teams. Just whatever. I don't think Sark's going anywhere. I think he's got a good home there in Texas.
No, well,
I do too. Plus, he wasn't a great coordinator in the NFL either.
No, he was not. Did he try to go to Atlanta after Atlanta?
It was Atlanta. Yeah, it was in Atlanta.
Yeah, that didn't look very good.
No.
It's a different game. It's just a totally different animal. It's like college basketball versus NBA. Just totally different.
But they're closer than they used to be with NIL. They're getting closer.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit.
Wow, found Ryan's.
We'll push that. We'll push that to next week. We'll bring our boxing gloves next week and talk about NIL.
I'm hit and miss on it. I'm hit and miss on it. Okay.
Well, collect your thoughts, and we'll hit it next week as our closing arguments for college football season.
We should have introduced Caleb tonight, starring as the overzealous prosecutor.
Yeah, literally.
You got one week to court.
Questions no one's expecting.
First night back, and he's already causing problems.
Hey,
Caleb's putting everybody on the stand.
He has missed us.
I'm finally alive from being sick for 2 weeks. Never been sick that long in my life, and I am just full of energy and just
that international food, wasn't it?
Feeling alive.
Well, I hope so, because if you weren't alive, we'd have a major problem.
Yeah, who are we talking to?
Okay. What's next? Are we doing NFL now?
Later.
Oh, finally, we're to the pros. It was a huge weekend.
We're talking about hires now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I know Caleb wants to talk about a huge hire. He's so excited. He is ecstatic.
I don't know.
He is bubbling with excitement. Before we talk about that, the Bears had reached out to see about Mike Tomlin. Yeah, they asked if they could talk and potentially trade for the head coach. Discussions never made it to Tomlin.
Yeah. Are you wanting to know my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please give us your thoughts on that one.
So I know that people are kind of dunking on the Bears, which people should be done dunking on the Bears considering they just hired their guy. But I think that was the McCaskies have been notoriously cheap in terms of willing to spend money on coaches because that doesn't go towards the cap, which means that is essentially just an out-of-pocket cost for them. Mike Tomlin being the highest paid or third or fourth highest paid coach in the league. I think that was them kind of, I'm guessing they're the ones that leaked it, basically saying we'll spend whatever we need to get our guy. Which
I like that. That's 3D chess right there.
They clearly, because they can't talk to Ben, right? As that week is progressing. But I think with the Flames kind of starting to rise with the Raiders and the Jags for Ben Johnson, I think they're trying to get it out there that, hey, we're willing to throw draft capital at somebody as well as pay them a ton of money. So.
Okay, well, they got their guy Ben Johnson.
They did.
Oof.
They did.
Are you on the high? Are you still skeptical?
I'm very happy that they finally did the right thing. Like I said, they no spared expense. They went and they did it, and they did it quickly.
Mm.
I I was really rooting for the Lions, but I'm glad that they lost because I knew that this week it would be resolved one way or another. It'd either be Ben Johnson or probably Todd Monken or Mike McCarthy.
Mm.
Mike McCarthy would have been a good safe hire, but you know what your floor is with Mike McCarthy. But
And your
you
ceiling.
also know that your ceiling isn't that high. It can be if the right things happen, but it's likely not going to be. With Ben Johnson, you don't know what your floor is going to be, but you also like your ceiling could be like you had stated earlier in a separate conversation, Sean McVay type. And I think that's potential. I mean, think about how sought after Ben Johnson has been the past 2 cycles now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last year he would have been the top guy, chose not to go to Washington, which worked out well for Washington because they just kicked Ben Johnson out of the playoffs. But I mean, with a quarterback that he maximized everything out of Jared Goff. I mean, everything. Mm-hmm. So even in a bad day, they scored 31 points and had 500 yards of offense. Unfortunately, they lost by 2 scores still. But yeah, I'm ecstatic. I mean, there's like that skepticism, like it still could go wrong. But like I said in the earlier, I'm like, at least it's like it's not the Bears trying to be the smartest or most frugal team. They picked the right guy at the time. They tried their hardest to get the right guy in there and did it whatever it took. So if it fails, it fails. But it's not for lack of trying for once.
No.
Yeah, and I feel like Caleb Williams may blossom with a decent coach.
Certainly think that, again,
we will know. We will have a better picture of who he actually is.
Yes. Yeah. You'll find out very quickly what his floor is, and you hope that his ceiling will continue to rise over the next 5 years and then hopefully plateau there for 10.
Yeah.
But it's pretty
you got to
cool.
remember 6 weeks in, we were still saying Caleb Williams was still the class of the first year class, 6 weeks in, because he was looking so good, but he got kind of broken later in the year because of the way things were going.
He got broken and then kind of revived himself, I'd say, over the last 6 weeks of the season. But there was definitely a lull there after the Washington. Actually, whatever happened, I kept attributing it to like it's like Space Jam. They went over to London, played their game, kicked Jaguars' ass, and then the Monstars stole their power, and they didn't win again until the end of the season. It was like whatever happened in that bye week, I can't figure it out. But
what the Monstars live in London now?
They must.
Okay,
they were visiting.
I was just checking.
They must, because the Bears came back with the zero talent, 0 powers.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if you look at Caleb's year, I mean, for losing a head coach and moving to 2 different OCs because the interim OC got moved to interim head coach, which was a mistake on the Bears' part, I think. But I mean, 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 63% completion percentage. I mean, if Jaden Daniels didn't have a nuts year, I mean, I don't understand what is so terrible about Caleb's year, especially given the surrounding circumstances.
I would say it's not. I would say much like Burrow, it's the phenomenon of having the decent stats, but a terrible team around you. So then you look bad because your team stats are bad. Because we have this weird expectation that quarterbacks are supposed to carry teams.
Yeah. I mean, he drove, I think 5 games. He drove the Bears to be in position or to actually score what should have been the game-winning points. And then the defense implodes, the kicker misses the kick, something gets blocked.
So, but I think we all know he can do even better with good leadership and somebody who has better utilize the rest of the team better.
If that's his floor for
yes.
I mean, geez, man. I mean, I'll take that, especially as a Bears fan. I've never seen a quarterback even really play that well.
It's only up from here.
I hope. Oh, God. That's what we're nervous about. Should be up.
I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling, Caleb.
What's Stafford going to do?
I thought they talked about him retiring, right? They made it
No,
alluding
they
Like, is
alluded
his
to
contract up?
something.
no. He's got 2 years left on his deal.
Okay.
They do what they always freaking do at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well, what's your future look like? And he's like, the game ended 30 minutes ago. Like, I'm gonna take some
Oh
time
no,
to
I wasn't
think.
talking about that. During the game, they were talking about how him and his wife were trying to figure out where their direction is heading because they're going to
Yeah.
focus more on philanthropy lately.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
they
what
kind
I
of
guess
made it
maybe.
sound like they were moving
Oh.
on to like.
No, his when they asked him in the post game press conference, he was like, "The game ended 30 minutes ago. I'm gonna take some time, think about the future here." But like, sure feels like I got a lot of football left in me. They're
I
like,
mean,
you
he's
know,
like 35 and had his spinal cord scrambled last year. Like, there's a cap here, but
it was 2 years ago, but he's still playing pretty well for the circumstances that were given to him this year, with the offensive line being held together with paper clips for most of the season.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
it's hard to
impressed
say
with
with
how.
aging.
yeah, he's got 2 years left on his deal. I feel like he's like the type of guy that's going to see it through and then just be like, all right, I'm done. You know, and him himself said, I feel like I played some really good ball today, and I feel like I got football left in me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he showed it. I mean, that second half of the season for y'all was when you guys lost to Chicago. I'm like, they're done.
well, we lost to you guys. We had nothing on the offensive line.
Yeah, and you guys. I don't think did you guys Puka or Cooper?
No, we had nothing.
Yeah, so
95% of our offense was missing through week 8.
yeah. Once you got them back, it was.
Let me break in for a second after we talked about the hiring. Julie, do you have some injury updates?
Sure do.
Okay, let's go to that then.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts' knee is leaving us with some questions. If y'all remember, he injured his knee in the third quarter against the Rams, and he came back, but he had a knee brace, and so like there's some concern over whether that's going to be a lingering thing. He said he's still going to play during the NFC Championship, but just something to keep an eye out for. And then the Commander starting guard, Sam Cosmi, is he's one of the top 10 highest paid guards in the league. He's gonna miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL that he got during the game against the Lions. And so they're gonna have the backup Trent Scott come in, but yeah, that's a big loss for them because not that Trent Scott isn't good, but he's not the starter. And Cosme, again, is quite talented. So they're both beat up in an important place on the field. That is all I have, though, for injuries sustained heading into this week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Just 2 injuries heading into the championship
those
week?
are the
That's pretty
biggest
freaking good.
ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're going to talk about the nosebleed that the third stringer got, but like those are obviously like some pretty big ones.
Yeah.
Oh, good news for the Commanders though. Guard, I mean, you can.
Yeah, but we saw during the game that like they kind of struggled with Trent Scott being there even when he left.
But
Like
he'll have a week to prepare now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting thrown in.
And if Jalen's down a little bit.
It is against Carter and
you're playing Carter, yeah. And Carter freaking wrecked Bo Leemer and Dotson yesterday. But a good chunk of the game.
Was the Washington game the biggest surprise for everybody?
Yeah.
I had, and I don't know if it's because I'm skeptical of Vegas sometimes, but like I think 92% of the money was on Detroit. And I'm just like, something weird feels like it's going to happen. And
yeah, I have that same feeling.
They just, I don't know. I mean, Detroit hung around valiantly, I think, considering that they turned the ball over, 5 times?
5 turnovers, yeah.
Last week, we saw, like, them drop like flies. Like, the entire defense, what was left was, like, mutilated. So it wasn't totally surprising to me, since they're such a heavily injured game, that they were vulnerable. And so I wouldn't say that I knew that the Commanders would win, but I knew that the Lions weren't at 100, and I know that the Commanders have some weird juju right now, which means that they somehow can pull off miracles. They've done it, like, during the season, so, like, I wasn't, like, totally shocked at all.
Yeah. You knew the Lions were going to have to score just a crap ton of points.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of thought, with the injuries, that Detroit was sustaining on defenses. It was going to be rough for them to stop Daniels. It became even worse when Goff started throwing it to the other team like they were long bombs to St. Brown.
Yeah.
So
True, but then
I kind of thought
it's probably all the hits that didn't have ref calls that
Oh,
rocked
God,
his
yeah.
noggin a little bit.
that's 7 points that should have been taken off the board.
He probably
Yeah.
was seeing double. He's like, okay, that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh wait, no, that was a double of him.
So-
That's actually someone else, but I couldn't see straight.
Yeah, that was a rough. I mean,
It was illegal.
Rough block.
Should have been called. It's the way it is these days.
I like Goff a lot.
Across,
I like Goff too.
I've always liked him, even when he was playing like buns in LA. I still rooted for him. Hope he could pull out of it, but like, we got Stafford, man. That's a Hall of Fame level quarterback. Both teams won that trade. I swear to God.
I agree.
I'm still gonna support
can see
Goff.
that. Yeah.
I doubt Detroit thought that they were getting what they were getting.
Yeah,
And
like
Goff.
a lot of people thought he was just gonna be a bridge to
Yeah, for sure.
to the draft, and Dan Campbell bet on him.
It speaks to
Good for
Dan
him.
Campbell's ability to bring out the very best in him, which is not maybe amazing, but is more than serviceable in a league where we're running short of amazing. So,
And the thing is, though, with Goff, it still rings true. He has to have everything go perfect for him in order to perform at an MVP level. He's
Fantastic line, great weapons.
he's not the type of guy that's going to be like a Josh Allen, put the team on the back, move the ball. He needs everything to be perfect.
he's not
Yeah.
tall enough, okay?
6'3", I think.
Oh my god, when Josh Allen like stretched his like NBA limbs over everybody else for that one TD where he did a tush push alone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
He
yeah,
just
he did.
kind of like stretches out and he's so huge. That
He's 6'5". Like, it's
Are you
unfair.
sure? It feels
Yeah,
like
Josh Allen- he's
like
6'5".
a monster.
He's
Okay.
6'5". Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. But he's going to be a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. It's just everything needs to be perfect for Goff. And a lot of Detroit fans are really shitting on him right now after this weekend.
Look, don't even get me started on
And-
people bandwagoning.
They shouldn't be, man.
And
I mean,
it's-
Detroit should be. I know it's a disappointing ending to a great season, but man,
Yeah.
we
Let's
should be a
forget the
little
rest
more
of the season and pick on him for this one time.
But I mean,
forget
I
the
don't see
last
how they
30
could
years.
be mad at. They scored, like you said, 31 points, and there was a pick six in the game, right?
Yeah, that probably should have been called back. But
Juan Martin.
if you think
So
about it,
basically, you flip that. If you're
Yeah.
taking that ball and driven it down, that's 38-38. I mean,
Yeah.
Washington didn't punt until 5 minutes to go in the game. That's on the
here's-
defense.
I don't know if I texted you guys this or not the other day, but like Baltimore turning the ball over 4 times yesterday, and then being right in the thick of it. Now, if
Yeah.
Buffalo turned that over 4 times, I think they get boat raced.
Oh yeah,
I
you're right.
think it's
Probably,
the same
yeah.
thing for Washington. If that, like Jay's saying, if they turn the ball over 5 times, I think that score is like 56-20 or something. You know? what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
something stupid like
So-
that. That's the
Yeah,
thing
Goff-
that's the thing with Detroit though. Like they're a high powered offense.
Mhm.
They beat themselves this past weekend.
They did.
They
for the first time.
literally. I thought it was going to be close because I never trust a team that's coming off a bye. I'm one of those guys where it's like, okay, they've had a week off.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting that this other team played.
Got the hungry dog coming in
But like I did not expect Goff to throw 3 picks
and fumble.
and fumble. Like I was not
Mhm.
expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Also, why are we having Jameson Williams throw a freaking trick play ball? I mean,
They're down 14 at the time when he did that,
I want to say 10.
and
but-
what are you doing?
That was Ben Johnson digging a little too deep into the bag, and at least with the player that's just, I'm not sure that the football IQ is exactly there as compared to like an Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like he should have just thrown that thing away. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
It's not a good decision, and that failed all 3 levels there. But
I feel like we see more desperation laden plays that make the team look more questionable for most of the teams during the playoffs. Like when they get desperate, they really put it all on the line, and it's not cute most of the time. Like, yeah, they're trying for anything because, it is sort of the pinnacle of the season, so anything will do, but the desperation is not cute most of the
But
time.
also, when it's playoffs time, there's a lot of film out on you.
Yeah.
Tons. I mean, 18, 19,
Unless
20
it's
weeks.
brand new trick play,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to. And if you're just using the first time, why weren't you using it during the season?
Yeah. Well, I think these guys, they kind of, I mean, the lights are the brightest, the pressure is on. I think
Right.
sometimes they kind of just overthink things and forget to keep it simple, stupid.
I think so too. Yeah. When shit starts to hit the fan, then they start acting a little crazy.
And sometimes egos get involved, and you just never know. Not that I think Ben Johnson was being egotistical, but I just think he was being a little smarter than he needed to be.
Okay. I'm thinking the only game we hadn't touched on is Kansas City. Is that right? Did anybody watch or
Of course I
care?
watched it.
Oh, we didn't really touch on all of the games, really.
Okay, well, let's get started on that then.
So Kansas City defeats Houston 23-14. Houston got a late safety because Kansas City ran the ball in the end zone to run the clock out, which I thought was banned after Baltimore did it.
No, I mean, there was still like 10 seconds left. I mean, they still had to kick the ball off to Houston after that, but
right, yeah.
Anyways, but it's a free kick. You can't get it blocked, though. So
right, and then they put the score at 9, and then I mean, Houston would have had to score twice, which is about physically impossible in 10 seconds. So
yeah, that's true. So the takeaway from that game is, I think we all know.
We all know.
We all know
what happened.
In the pocket again. It's disgusting. It's irritating, and I think the entire fan base of the NFL is outside of Kansas City is just sick to death with it.
I think I've heard from Kansas City fans, the real ones anyways, that it frustrates them too because it sort of makes their wins less meaningful, and it like compromises the integrity of their team. So like the real ones out there, they don't like that very much either.
They're gaming the system is what they're doing, and it's very unbecoming. I mean, dare I say that
it's not very demure.
I mean, am I wrong in saying the Patriots? I mean, the Patriots just kind of whooped your ass.
There were some sketchy shit there too.
They had some sketchy moments too. But I mean, it feels like this entire Chiefs
tuck rule.
Yeah, you got the tuck rule. You got Spygate.
They literally changed the rule.
Save it with the Spygate stuff. The deflated balls, if you know
the deflated ball. Going into other teams' things and typing it illegitimately.
Miles Jack could probably still be running with that fumble.
But I mean, here's the thing, though. Like I'm telling you, on the field, they just were better than you. The Chiefs.
It didn't feel like they were hedging for the Patriots on the referees. It didn't at all.
No, and it feels like the Chiefs, specifically Mahomes, they just know what to do, when to do it, to goat somebody into something just completely ridiculous, like that little flop out of bounds. It's just like that kind of stuff. I don't know. It just ruins it for me. I used to like the Chiefs a lot. Now I'm just like, I can go without seeing them in a playoff game ever again.
Yeah. There's something about the energy of the team that feels off.
Yeah.
It's like they know what's happening, and they know like we're gonna be here.
Kind of vindictive, sort of, in a way. Calculated, not straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the way that offense is set up in today's rules, that offense could boat race anybody, but they don't.
I think Mahomes is kind of a yak merchant, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
A yak merchant?
yards after
He's
catch. So
Oh,
he throws the ball like 5 yards downfield, and then his receiver takes it 30.
I know that's what I was thinking, Julie. I was like
okay.
thinking the
Because
Great
like
White North.
Sorry,
You know,
no, and
I
I
was
just
thinking,
saw
the Great
something
White
where
North.
you know, I was thinking antlers. I was thinking,
yes,
mush and
good lord.
and I had seen
Yeah.
somebody who just said like in a commercial it said like so and so stole my yak milk latte out of the fridge at work, and I was
Oh,
just like,
oh, Caleb
sir.
saw that commercial too.
that must be regional. I haven't seen that one at all. I will remember yak milk.
Okay, because I was like, they big question mark on that one for me, but it was
Jeez.
so that just brought that back for me. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Chiefs they're man.
But the
It's
Patriots
sickening.
gave me deception vibes too, like major.
They did, but
They never felt straight up ever. Like they were as bad, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that was more towards later. And like I'm thinking, I guess like early 2000s Patriots when they really started rolling.
I felt more. I felt more of more of the official happiness towards Patriots, like 14, 15, 16, 17, up until Brady left. Like I felt that more then than I did like
Yeah.
early
but
Brady.
some of those gates, deflate gate, like those are earlier on, so
Yeah,
Not really. I mean, that was like 2014.
14 was Deflategate, but
Which hold on, can we talk about that for a second?
Holy hellfire! What we got to talk about?
If so, you have the ball aired up to say like right on the cusp of the minimum that's allowed.
Sure, yeah.
And then you air it up in the locker room, correct? When it's room temperature, and then you take that ball and you take it out into like 5-degree weather, and there's
kept in a heater, Caleb.
Snow. Huh?
It's kept in a chamber.
Not when it's being played.
Yeah, they keep the balls in a chamber, and then like they keep.
But I'm saying like they look at all of them, right? So they're looking at the one they're actively using as well.
Yes,
which the Colts are the ones that brought that to their attention.
I suppose so.
Because of the one on the field. I'm saying just simple thermodynamics is going to take place there.
But every single team is going to know that, and they're going to understand if you live in a colder region that this is what happens.
And they probably did. I'm just that whole thing was a sham. Spygate, all that stuff, whatever. But Deflategate was a complete sham.
Yeah.
As a Seahawks fan, I can't agree with you, but that's
I know. There's a lot of hurt there.
Yeah.
Ryan, which game am I missing?
Philly and the Rams.
Oh, that's the one.
We really didn't talk about Buffalo and Baltimore either, but
yeah,
Philly.
We talked about the turnovers, and that was the story of the game.
I suppose so.
Well, my hope is that because Jalen Hurts got beat up, that maybe that'll give the Commanders an edge. Because he does a lot of running, and if his knee's fucked, then maybe.
Yeah, he definitely can't throw the ball. We know that.
Yeah, it severely handicaps his capabilities. So that's what I got out of the game.
Do you need your knees to be pushed into the end zone from half a yard out, though?
Well, I mean, he gets a prostate exam every time he's at the 1 yard line. So,
and he's not as tall as Allen.
So Philly defeats the Rams 28-22. Came down to the wire. Slushy, snowy mess. Okay. Barkley. Freaking Barkley has rushed for 14 million miles on the Rams in 2 games this year.
Yeah, about
another 200-yard game, 2 tutties, and 2 turnovers by the Rams led to 6 points for Philly.
That's the margin.
Yep.
But I mean, it was a great close game. And the other thing is too, people forget about because you don't see as many snow games as you used to. Mm-hmm. Snow games are great for running backs. There's been lots of huge running back because once you get going, you don't have to change direction. The guys chasing you have to change. There's been 150, 200-yard games all the time in the snow. Now with the equipment and everything, unless it starts snowing in the middle of the game, which was what happened with the Rams, the snow's not on the ground. But he got going, he got his traction going, and then nobody in the Rams backfield could get in his way. It's stupid to say 9% of the game they hadn't bottled up, but 9% of the game they hadn't bottled up. He had like two great runs, but I mean, if you got two great runs, that's like 130, 140 yards right there.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was like 30 yards on about seven or eight carries, I guess. I mean, he didn't average more than 2 or 3 yards on the other runs, but the two long ones.
He was bottled up for a good chunk of the game.
Yeah.
And it felt like what's his name? Stafford. In the second to last, I believe, possession at like the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter, he was shooting darts. I was like, oh, hello, Stafford. We haven't seen you for a portion of the game. It was like he was so spot on, and I'm like, if he was this on the whole game, it would have been a whole nother thing because I know like a lot of people were struggling with the snow. Nakua was like, struggling with the snow. A lot of people were, but it just felt like at that point he was honed in and his players like reflected that back. So I was like, if we had that energy was the vibe I got.
So I'm just going to come out and say it. The lack of officiating is costly in this game for both teams, actually. One of Barkley's runs for a touchdown was allowed because of a holding that wasn't called. Philly's offensive line doesn't hold, really. Not one holding call on them. You and I talked about this, Caleb. It feels like Kansas City every time you play Philly.
I didn't get that vibe, but
it's not. I mean, it's not nearly as bad, but I mean, I did see a couple that were probably should have been called.
Mm-hmm.
But
also,
that game was on the ground, so
yeah.
I don't know.
I also want to point out Darius Slay getting away with holding on the last play on Puka Nacua. He was also getting away with pass interference all game long on Puka Nacua. And I want to point out a missed roughing the passer call on Carter at the end of the game. Now, I'm pointing this out because Mahomes was hit the same way on Saturday. There was a call. Stafford got hit, no call.
Probably softer, but
I want to point out the lack of consistency throughout the league is left too much up to discretion of the officials. Need to be black and white, cut and dry.
We've been saying this since week 1.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on the Carter thing. I'm watching it, without any real huge rooting interest, even though I would prefer the Rams. But it was one that would have been called. I felt like it wasn't called because it would have extended the game. I really felt that was a factor in that because it's a pretty blatant that the guy had released it and he didn't pull up. He delivered a full blow on Stafford as he's.
Yeah. And it was high. Yeah. Now that puts the Rams at the 1 yard line. You think the Rams aren't scoring with 21 seconds left? The Rams won the game right there. So that's whatever.
Like I said, since preseason, since last season, you can re-listen to our podcast, and we are consistently pointing out how shitty the refs are and how inconsistent it is.
They're terrible.
Yeah,
they're garbage. Like, how do we point it out sitting here when they're sitting right on the freaking field and they don't see it?
You heard about what's his name? One quarterback, Troy Aikman was losing his ever-loving shit off.
He was over the Kansas, Mahomes head being called a
and rookie, they absolutely hear that. The NFL hears this. The officiating crew is going to hear about this because it's Troy Aikman on national TV. It's not like they don't know.
Right.
Troy Aikman is screaming it at them.
That's when you know it's bad. When Troy and Joe Buck are saying that was egregious, that's probably pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's kind of towards wrapping this thing up. Let's start with Julian. Get your picks for next week. Who you picking to go to the Super Bowl?
I guess I'll go on a limb here and say maybe the Commanders pull it off because Jalen Hurts is injured, and I would love that, frankly. And the Chiefs will win.
Okay. Man. How about you, Caleb?
I'm gonna pick with my heart and go Bills and Commanders, even though I know the narrative I'm gonna listen to for the next 4 or 5 months about the Bears picking Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels. But I digress.
Nobody
Go
knew that would
Commanders.
happen, so I don't have time
Go
for that.
Yeah.
Bears.
Nobody had him high on the draft board. So, yeah. How
He
about
might
you,
have
Ryan?
a chip on his shoulder because of
revisionist
that.
history though was something. So
What's your pick, Ryan?
Yeah, Buffalo and Washington. I mean, Philly and Washington split this year, and Buffalo beat Kansas City already this year. So
Washington, I think they legitimately have a chance. It's
Yeah.
the Buffalo
Yeah.
going to Kansas City that you're like,
with a hobbled Hurt, I think Washington has an even greater chance.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to go chalk. I'm saying Eagles and Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, Jay, you hurt my heart.
I'm
somebody
sorry,
had to.
but that's
No, it's realistic.
it's been a chalk year.
It is really realistic.
It's been a chalk year.
Save the line.
It's literally like when LeBron was in his prime. It's just like you could just pencil people in. Like you pencil Mahomes in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went halfway heart by praying that the Commanders went because we've already seen the Eagles and the Chiefs. At least we can see the Chiefs beat someone else this time. But I can absolutely see it going that way.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Now the
Chiefs
Bills
and-
and the Commanders, that's too far for me. But like I can.
I think this is the year Josh gets it done.
What would the most aesthetically pleasing Super Bowl would be, like uniforms wise, for me would be Bills Eagles.
And they say women are focused on the Super
Oh no, I love
the
uniform.
sports
Like
world.
a good uniform matchup really does it for me.
No, I love that, and I'm not judging you for it.
Love
It's
it.
just they always say that women focus on stuff like that, and they have to have pink jerseys and shit. But you're the one who was focused on that, and I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I just think
See?
that's funny.
I mean, a good jersey goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
No, I
So-
agree.
So Julie, tell me, what's the thing you usually say when we close the show up?
Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, and we are moving up closer. We're past 1K. There's a decimal point there with the
Yes.
number that's not 0, so we
About
kill it.
1,100 now.
Yes.
Yeah, so we in here, we appreciate our fans so much. We couldn't do it without you. So, if you want to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you're going to have more talent every week.
Sounds great.